Hey, Elda, Tinakoto, hello and welcome back to another episode of Thaumcraft 4.2 with Birdtross. In today's episode, we're going to be doing some work with alchemy. That is going to be really awesome. I haven't ever tried this before, of course. That's why we're doing it on camera. But to start the episode off, I want to mine this area out over here. If you remember last time, I dug out a hole over by the stronghold, and I want to do something similar here so that I can fly overhead with the thermostatic harness and basically just be able to fall into my base and have a nice cushion landing on our arcane levitators. So I've got my arcane ball materials set up here. Well, I'm going to set them up here, so let's just build out like this, get into the center. Well, that's about there. It should be enough space. It's only about 30 blocks up or so, I believe, so should be pretty straightforward to get this up and get this stuff in here, and that should be good to go. We don't really need a pick like this, but it's just great because it has that efficiency unbreaking on there. There we go, and it's getting fueled with Perditio from the node, so it is travelling a little bit faster. But yeah, that's probably going to completely fill up this chest, I wouldn't be surprised. But that's just going to be working in the background, hopefully won't overflow. While we work on the rest of the materials, you may have also been able to spot that I have some materials here in my inventory. I've been doing some preparations. Let's come down here. I want to build basically kind of an alchemy lab, I suppose. That's definitely one of the things that Thaumcraft sort of requires. Basically, if you recall over here, I have my, what is it called, Thaumatorium, and I've got the alchemical furnace, and even the Elementum factory it would probably be best to live inside of an actual fully fledged alchemy lab. Did I just fall down a bit? I don't know. But anyway, I've decided that the best place to do that would be over here, but I think I would actually like to change the Y elevation of the floor up to level 53, because if you recall, arcane levitators can lift you up to 11 blocks, which basically means that, and seeing as this the height of there to here is 11, so I'm pressing W right now, I can't get up. So I think just a sort of a more standard, a good idea would just be to have the difference between each floor being at 10 blocks. So for that reason, we are going to increase the floor size here for now. So I want to build it out here. There's going to be another ring down here, of course. This is mostly going to be the node level, I think. Or no, I think I'm changing my mind a bit. It just sort of depends on what you want and what you need. Yeah. So let's do it over here. There's plenty of space out this way also as well, so I think I'm just going to mine into the wall a little bit. Well, what do you reckon? Is this enough space to get on with? Well, this is obviously just a little entryway, to be honest, but I think it is far enough away. Let's probably go a little bit into the walls a little bit here. So basically the plan is, well, here's the deal. We have a lot of herba sitting around, right? And herba comes out of a lot of the common things that we have in the world. A lot of things that you can farm, for example, you know, your trees, your plants, the wheats and stuff like that, right? So you're going to have a lot of it sitting around. So what we should be doing is converting that into other essentias that we don't have an awful lot of. And one example that I can think of right off the bat would be Victus. If we come over here, we don't actually have any Victus whatsoever. And if we take a look in the Thaumonomicon, we have, if we come over here to the aspect tab and take a look at herba, if I can find it, here it is. So herba breaks up into Victus and Terra. So how exactly can we turn our herba into Victus? Well, let's see, there's an item over here in the alchemy tab known as the Alchemical Centrifuge, and that basically takes a compound essentia, takes it up the bottom, and turns that into the aspects that it's made out of. So, my thinking is, if we take some of this herba, we can put it in a centrifuge, and turn some of it into Victus, and the other one will be Terra, but then again we have a lot of Terra as well. Yeah, it looks like there's a sort of a zombie thing going on down here. So I think what we need to do is set up a little bit of a system, but first of all I guess we need to craft up the centrifuge and we'll get a buffer as well. The buffer is kind of useful in these sorts of situations because it can hold multiple types of essentia, so it's really great. So the recipe for these things, I have the materials prepared, so it requires an alembic, an alchemical construct, some pistons and essentia tubes. I believe I put my pistons away. I made some pistons for this as well, a heap of pistons. And I've got so much stone, let's just quickly get rid of that. Yeah, I'm building up a lot of extra aspects here. Oh man, got more of this stuff. There we go. Inventory filling up with junk already. So let's see. The alchemical construct was in the middle. These two guys, an alembic, and a piston, right? Well, that's it. It's also going to require some chump change aspects. Let's just bonk those down. Awesome. How is this guy doing? Oh, it's almost done. And I did have to empty the chest out a little bit. Looks like I might have to do that again, or maybe not. Let's just make sure that there's plenty of space. And just put these in here. That's one of the downsides. You can't use a large chest with an arcane board. It has to be a single chest. If you try a double chest, it'll only do it into the 1/2 slot, and then it'll complain that it's run out of space, even though there's an entire other half of the chest there. And it's just one of those downsides. So I've got the centrifuge. I haven't scanned that, and I need to get the buffer, so I kind of left a bit prematurely there. Let's check out this guy. So that's got 8 aqua. We've got 22 metallum, aqua, ordo, perditio, motus, and lucrum in there. Lucrum. I think I did use gold, so fair enough, it's got a little bit of lucrum. But it kind of looks pretty cool as well. Yep. Get me up there. That's going to be really nice for just jumping in and out of the base really quick instead of having to use the ladder over there. And so we need to make a buffer as well. The buffer is also pretty cheap, I believe. That requires some valves. Let's have a look. Over here, oh, it's going to require 1 valve, 3 pipes, and some of these guys. So we'll let them go ahead and make 1 for now. These are pretty expensive in terms of just the setup time. Oh, hello. Is that not it? Have I missed something? Let's have a look. Valve, essentia tube. Oh, it's a restricted essentia tube. Okay. So the restricted essentia tube is pretty cheap as well. I think we should just be able to do that. That's just a piece of stone, if I recall. Yes, just clean stone. And we have tons of this. Tons of that lying around. Can we just make this in here? Probably not. No. It does require vis. So let's get these back out. I thought we had it there. Apparently not. Okay. Wow, that's actually quite a lot. Restricted essentia tube. Gotta keep that in mind. Right, so let's get the rest of these materials in. Valve and some more of these glass vials. There we go. 3.9, so the actual buffer itself is pretty cheap. But the setup stuff, not so much. Okay, that's getting really close to finished. That's got enough inventory space to finish now. Right, so let's come over here. So basically we need to set up a little bit of a system. So the centrifuge accepts essentia from the bottom. Oh my goodness, those guys are going to be annoying, aren't they? Yes, they are. There we go. So essentia comes from the bottom, in our case herba. We're going to put an herba jar here basically. And then the centrifuge is going to turn that into vitus and terra. We're going to pull that out with the essentia buffer here because that can hold several different types of aspects. Okay, I'm just thinking a bit. I think what I can do, let's just move this jar a little bit. I've just had a little bit of an idea, which is kind of cool. We're actually going to need some jars. Of course we are, of course we are. We're going to need a void jar, I'm thinking, as well, because we're going to have a lot of excess terra here. So let's get this jar. Let's get these watered jars as well. And we might just go ahead and quickly grab some jar labels as well. My jar labels are over here. I should only need just a handful. Oh, and I've sorted these out, by the way, into the rainbow in here, so it's kind of cool. There should be enough space for all of the aspects, but I'm not too sure. Get back down here. Right, so we're going to have 1 jar here. We're going to have our... Does that connect up? I don't think that connects up, actually. We'll have to see if that actually pulls out of there. I'm thinking that it won't, having looking at that. Maybe we need to move this torch. It might be nice to have an arcane lamp or two in here. So if we get our essentia tubes down, should be able to put this like this. Right, so we have one system going down there. And this is going to be for our Terra. So let's actually quickly make a Terra label so that that only pulls Terra. The Terra is over here. So this is nice. This is the reason that I'm making these files, by the way, just so that it's really easy to just quickly make a label on demand for this exact situation. So it's really nice. And then I can just put that back in the right spot. And now I have a Terra label. Really cool. For when you don't have essentia in your jar already. So that is now a Terra void jar. And then we're going to basically bring this over here. And that is going to be our Victus jar. Right, so that should be pretty much good to go, I think. It doesn't require any external power source as far as I know. Let's go ahead and try this out. Grab one of the spare herba jars. You see what I mean by having the 11 block distance here? It's not economical. Not economical at all. Now, we got tons of it. Let's just grab a full jar and see what kind of ratios we get. It should be 50-50. Should be 50-50. Basically the way it works is that a centrifuge will take one herba and it will make either one Terra or one Victus. We'll see. Okay, that is actually able to pull out of the jar, but it doesn't have any kind of a connection there. There we go, we're pulling out Victus now for the very first time. Very awesome. Let's get that label on there. And I think actually just as soon as we've got 8, I'll go ahead and make myself a new glass file. We have 5. So basically once the buffer fills up, yeah, so but pretty much immediately it just goes into one of these jars. And it's just going to keep running continuously. So that's really cool. Now we have a system that can make for us some Victus, which is really cool. I actually want to set up something markedly similar, and I should have the materials still to make this. Okay, we have 12 of this now. Nice, we've got a Victus file of essentia to add to our essentia collection. I don't need to use my harness there. I could use the harness to get out. And put that there. I'll have to see if that's any more red than the E-tier. I haven't actually seen Sano in these jars before. Normally I just eyeball it by the research table, but until you've got the essentia you don't really know how red something is. It actually does look quite red, doesn't it? But anyway, so once we have the Terra building up, it's going to be really cool. I actually have an idea for this Terra. Yeah, we're actually, we've made more Victus already so far. Okay, that's used up all of the, that's used it all up. It's made 27 of this and 29 of that. Right, so that actually is, that's actually fairly reasonable. Right, so that's some Victus right there. I think I'll actually go ahead and take this particular jar, and we'll go ahead and take that top side to throw into the essentia system. Yup. Oh. Looks like this is done. We did not have an inventory spill. Let's go ahead and turn the bore off. Weep. So now we have a nice giant hole here. I guess we'll have to pretty this up at some point as well. Oh, okay, it's just kind of almost coming out of the mountain there, but yeah, okay, now we have something that we should be able to, once we remove the bore, of course, bounce onto there, which would be kind of cool. Kind of cool indeed. Let's go ahead and replace the sign with our Victus jar. I think this Victus is definitely going to have to move. Yeah, that is quite dark actually. It might actually butt Iter and Telum out of the way. But for now, we'll just go ahead and put it here. Very cool. Now all we need is Sanor. I actually had a look in the Thaumcraft for the aspects. I wonder how I discovered this guy. I think it must have just been random discoveries that I did, because having a look here, I don't actually know anything that has Sanor in it, so how am I supposed to get it as an essentia? I definitely am able to, because if we come down to the Artifice tab, the reason that I haven't gone ahead and made this guy is because it requires Sanor. Unfortunately, a whole entire jar full, as well as Cognitio and Tutamen, but those are way easier to get. Sun ore. No idea where that comes from. That's a real problem. Perhaps you guys can help me out on that one. I'll go ahead and leave that guy there. Right, so I'm just going to quickly make some more of these centrifuges, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I've got some potentia. I keep saying potentia. That's one of the hardest ones to change over to Latin. Potentia. I've got that here now. We're going to put another centrifuge on top of here. It looks like it's going to work immediately, even though there's nothing for it to pull out of. Go ahead and put this right here. I guess this is a better way of demonstrating it, actually. There we go. It's turning that all into Ingyies, but more importantly, it's actually making Ordo. Let's take a look in the Thaumcraft again, under our basic information. Let's have a look at Ordo. Ordo. There we go. So we definitely know some stuff that has Ordo in it, but nothing really that's actually useful and farmable, except maybe the smooth sandstone. That's basically what I've been burning up to get my Ordo up until now, because I'm I'm thinking that I can pump this stuff down here. We've got Ordo right there, and then we'll be able to... Oh, okay. Somehow that decided that wanted to be Ordo as well. That is not what we want, actually. There we go. So now we've got Ignis right there. Let's go ahead and get that Ordo out of there really quick. Just make this a... Let's go ahead and label those guys. There we go. I need another essentia tube right there. Coming right up. Cool. Oh! Yeah, that's gonna happen. Bonk. Alright, so basically the idea is we have a bunch of potentia stored up in the form of charcoal over here, right? Actually, I haven't seen this guy in a little while. How are we doing? Yeah, I did empty it out a little bit ago. Hi. Right, that's all she wrote for that for a while. That thing is just still plodding along. Still plodding along, but the idea is charcoal has Ingyies and potentia in it, and basically potentia breaks down into Ingyies and Ordo. So my thinking is I can use my farm, in addition to providing me charcoal, which is useful for all sorts of things, turning into alimentum, fueling all sorts of other machines, and of course now turning ourselves into some primal aspects, which I think is going to be really cool. So in terms of a long-term base in an alchemical factory, what you'll end up with is basically a way to produce all of these primal aspects, I would say. So we're already producing 3 the renewable resources, basically, which is really cool. I'm sure it won't take too much longer until we produce the other 3, air, peridotio, and aqua. Are there any farmable plants that have peridotio in it? I'm not too sure. So there is an interesting concept for us to use. I wonder if there's some sort of little way that we can set this up in a way, sort of. Let's see, we've got some charcoal over there. What was the recipe for an alchemical furnace? If we take a look at old Thormy. I should rename this to Thormy or something. That'd be kind of interesting. How much levels would that take? Probably not very many. I bet you I can do it right now, actually. Let's have a look. You know what, just gonna break mid-episode. Let's have a look if I can rename it. I can indeed. And it costs 5 levels. Oh, that's fantastic. Let's have a look at the Thormy. Anyway, alchemical furnace, that's over here now. Right, so that's going to be a crucible. That's pretty much the cheapest point. Maybe this thing might have to move over a little bit, not too sure. Okay. Because I would like to have definitely a proper place to put this would be somewhere close by the golem farm, right? I don't know. Okay, fine. These seem to break easy enough. Was wondering about that. Let's pick these up. Right, so if I put this here, and then we put these 2 alembics on top. Yeah. Okay, I guess those will connect up. Then what we can do is route our pipes like this. What we should be able to do, yep. Right, this thing will probably have to move, actually. I think, yeah, let's do this. Don't connect up there. Let's have a thing right there. I think I need to quickly get some labels. Let's... oh. There we go. I think if I get my Ignis Ignis, let's get some Ignis and get 2 labels of this. There we go. And we'll also get a Potentia label, which I can do pretty straightforward as well. Yeah, we'll get a couple of labels of this just to play it safe as well. Let's put our Ignis file away. Man, this inventory, man. Inventory management ain't my game. Minecraft is. Right, so let's put the Ignis over here for now. Maybe that should be a void jar, but we'll just use this jar now just as a proof of concept. And let's put the centrifuge over here, like so. And then we'll do the buffer, like that. And this stuff will have to move as well. Don't think there's any essentia in there already. We've got these jars right here that we can use as well. Right, so we have... basically what I want to do is route this. We'll have the Ignis coming out and going over there, I think. And it should actually... if I do something like this... that should work, actually, as long as I say that only Ignis can go in there. That should be okay. And then obviously this one down here, it doesn't need to be... no, I think it should be labelled actually, yeah. That needs to be Potentia as well. There we go. So now Potentia will go in there. And then Ordo will come out. And go down here. Where's my Ordo? Right here. So that's a quick little build on basically a way to generate yourself 2 primals using charcoal, I would say. What we need to do is get some elementum and a bit of charcoal and test the system out. We sort of did the proof of concept thing before, but I'm kind of interested to see if this will work. Is there any elementum in here? There is. Just get a decent amount of that. I really think the alchemy aspect of Thaumcraft is actually really interesting. It's really well fleshed out, surprisingly, which is quite cool. All these different little piping things, it's very easy to kind of make a very intricate system. I mean, this is just a small little wall unit, but it already looks pretty complicated. Right, so we have our elementum, let's put that in there. I've got this coal here, but we'll go ahead and use the charcoal just not to confuse people, I suppose. Let's get a decent amount of charcoal. Probably that's a decent amount just to test things out, because we've already got some full jars there. The system's going to make way more Ignis than what we need. It would also be nice for the system to sort of make, basically make Potentia as well. So, do I have a Potentia jar? No, I don't. It would be nice to incorporate some sort of system where Potentia can go down there, but the suction of this might not be as high. Where is my resonator? Let's quickly get that as well. To get the resonator and test all this stuff out. Resonator is right here. Man, that inventory. Oh man. Bursting at the seams now. Let's get in here. The suction of that is 0. I see. And the suction there is 127. Okay. So basically... okay, so this system actually works right out of the box. We don't need restriction tubes or anything. So if we put this in here, like so, that's going to start up. There we go. And this connecting over here shouldn't be a problem. The suction there is 0. Okay, it's building up the Ignis. It can't... this jar isn't working through here. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. In that case, we will have to route a oh! Oh dear. Oh dear. Looks like we've lost one of our jar labels there, unfortunately. Oh, that's okay. Ignis should eventually pop up in there. No, it's going in here too quick. Oh dear. I'm too lazy to go get my igneous jar, but that is working anyway. So we can go ahead and bonk this down. Let's do that. The problem is the system's got it clogged up, hasn't it? It has. So if I do that... that should be okay. Yeah, that's a... Get out of there, little guy. That is working now. I'll have to refine this in a little bit all right now. There we go. Right, so this is getting pulled out of here still, and this is able to get over to the igneous. So now... Okay. So now this is filling up with order, which is really cool. Courtesy of the potentia that's in here. And, I don't actually think, this is only getting potentia, right? Yeah, I don't think this is actually getting igneous. Yeah, it's not actually... The igneous isn't able to get over here. Okay. So maybe what I need to do... Okay, because I would actually like to be able to process the igneous and that there, so... What I'm thinking is... Put this here. Don't connect those two up. Do something like this. No, that's not really working out, is it? Because these two are kind of connected together. Well, they sort of have to go down here, don't they? Or the potent... No, no, that is working because potentia is made of igneous in that. What am I saying? What am I trying to say? The thing is working, but why has it stopped? Because there's no more. Okay, let's throw some coal in here then just to keep the system running. So basically once this fills up we should be getting... Basically our surplus potentia will be going in here, is what I'm thinking. So basically as long as we're filled up on primal aspects, then we will begin building up the compound aspects, which actually that sort of works out, I suppose. Perhaps it should be round the other way, because the compound aspects, we basically can't make compound aspects out of primal aspects, but we can make primal aspects out of compound aspects. So maybe throwing some restriction tubes on this guy is something that needs to happen. So in theory, some potentia should be building up in here. I don't think it can because, let's have a look. Okay, it's already got potentia in there. It contains potentia, I see. The reason that it's not going in here is because the suction is higher in these pipes. So it's not obligated to go down here because the suction down there is lower than what it is where it is. Even though this machine is, like, not working at the moment. Yeah, so we're going to need to throw some restriction tubes on this guy. There's still some perfections to be done. But I think that will have to be in another episode because we're all out of time for today. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this episode. Is this system doing okay? It's probably filled up with igneous is what the issue is. The system's just kind of backed up. That's really cool. That's really cool. I hope that there are some machines that we can unlock later on that actually use the primals more. Well, we've got this thing over here that we could, in theory, we could actually feed this back into the infernal furnace, now that I think about it, because I was reading up in the Thaumcraft. Where is it? Under Artifice. Yeah, in Artifice it says that you can, a new supply of igneous or vis every now and again. Yes, so we can basically put this back into the infernal furnace and feed it back into the system. I really like the sound of that. That is going to have to be in a future episode though. Thank you guys very much for watching this episode of Thaumcraft 4.2 with Birdtross. I've actually had quite a bit of fun here. This is a really nice little machine that you can just sort of set up and walk away from. It's really cool. Hope that you guys enjoyed. Kia kaha, and I'll see you in the next video.